This is Emily. It's 7:30 on June 24th, and I am answering a set of questions provided by Quartz. So here we go. Understanding is the topic. Why don't you want to be like mom, family? I would say I can learn from their experiences, and this is probably my own projection. To make decisions out of fear, or sometimes it's not even fear, it's just choosing to not take in all the information that is available to you, and just what can be a form of self-sabotage. So why don't I want to be like them? What I learned from them is that there's another option. There are many more options. And the one that sticks out to me the most is the one where you feel the jump and you take it. And you follow that feeling, and it's like you dancing with life. And it's truly about you and life and no one else, because sometimes those things become noise, or those things are not. Everyone has their philosophies, and then there's a system that's in place that doesn't necessarily stand through the test of time. It's just what's happening now, so that's not the ever standing truth. And in the dance of life, through ups and downs and the darkness and getting dirty with it and coming up for air, I find what resonates true, that stays in everlasting ways. Next question. Why you get on the plane with everyone and not jump? Sometimes just getting on the plane is the goal, or sometimes I don't think a lot, and many times it serves me. As long as I keep doing the dance. But then if I stop dancing and I'm not thinking, I just stay where I'm at. And it's kind of like you didn't know, like you started running and you might think a mile is like, wow, like that's your ceiling. And then you make friends with someone that runs regularly like 3 miles or 5 miles, and then you start like expanding. Next thing you know, you're running marathons and they're a piece of cake, and you realize that your body can go forever. As long as you stay in tune with your body can actually go forever, and it's all in your head. Your body's going to follow what your head says, and if your head's like, keep going, obviously you're hydrating and nourishing yourself along the way. And sometimes, like, I just haven't, like, thought beyond, like one time I made it, made it to the music studio, and it was fun, and people like came to hang out, and it was so awesome, and I couldn't get in the booth to save my life. I was like I don't, like, I feel like I'm afraid of what I'm going to say or whatever's going to come out of my mouth. So then I don't get in the booth, and it doubly sucked because it was a person I really liked, and they were like, they're all the things. They're sexy, they're smart, they're cool. And for them to teach me, and they went in the booth and was like, come in, we can like harmonize together. And I didn't fucking go. And I just, part of my energy sits there wishing I walked in. And so it's like, I was amazed that I got to the music studio and was hanging out with, like, they were friends, but they're the coolest people to me. And I was just like in shock. And I didn't think it through. I didn't have a song idea. I didn't think it through. And I was afraid of what I would say in that moment. So I was afraid to be vulnerable. It's like kind of like group sex. I was very vulnerable. But even if I said something dumb or silly, like, it would have just been funny. And like, what if, like, yeah, it sucks and I feel it, but then, like, what else could have happened? I could have done it. I could have learned. Bitch, I could be rapping right now. Like, Bad Bunny could be calling me, hey, Emily, I really need some help with ABC. Oh, yeah, dale, Bad Bunny, Benito, dale, vení a mi casa, vamos a tu casa, ¿cómo lo quieres hacer? ¿En la playa? Hey. So that was, so why it's time to like gear up my endurance for achieving goals, and then what's next, and like that's just the norm versus having seasons or like it happening less, and like letting, it's like letting the opportunity of the moment reach you because it's calling. I mean, to be honest, I did go skydiving, and I stood there with my hands at the window, right? And I was looking down, and everything was so fucking small, and I was like, what did I get myself into? Me and my big mouth. And had the guy not pushed us, because it was tandem, I would probably still be there. Like, but sometimes I feel it and I jump. So that's even more fortitude for myself. Like, hey, you can do it. You can jump. You have jumped. Your whole life is a jump, to be quite honest. Your whole life is a jump. And actually, I think that's how you like to live. You like to jump. You like to be swimming in the big ocean. All right, next question. So that kind of covers the next question, sabotaging self and others around you. In that moment, and even like I was saying in the studio, if I was vulnerable and whatever came out of my mouth, no matter how poopy, I tried it, I did it, but I didn't. So then it was kind of like the opposite. I inspired people to, hey, you can just fuck it up. So having the resources and not executing, right? That's kind of goes along the same. Why it felt better to imagine, escape, suppress. Why it felt better. Well, I would say it feels safer sometimes. your imagination, you can stop or you can think of something else. I guess you have control. So part 2 questions. Why it felt better to imagine, escape, and suppress. That's probably coming out of fear. It's safer. It's safe in your imagination, but then, you know, what you think about, you bring about. And what you want to do moving forward. So moving forward, after realizing this, realizing like it's safe to be vulnerable with the world. It's safe because, I mean, that's just who I am. Why am I afraid to be me? What do I want to do moving forward? I want to be more myself, anchored. And dance with life. Like, take all these lessons and make gold with them. And continue living. Do I want to keep dancing? What do I enjoy about Dog the Bounty Hunter? So, when I was younger, I used to watch Dog the Bounty Hunter with my family, and now it's funny, like, you know, it's funny after you have some life experiences and then you watch things. And from this perspective, I would see how there's so many similarities of goals already implemented, like having a family you don't want to escape from, that you choose to work with on your days on, your days off, a purpose that fills your heart, keeps your mind clear, keeps your body healthy, is a positive impact. And I saw how they really believe in second chances, and I thought that was powerful. As many times as it takes to get it right. As long as you're... But then where's just the fine line? Alright. So... time you remembered you did not communicate your truth. A time... that's kind of like... like a specific time? Let me see what comes to mind. I just feel like I've been masking and suppressing to survive. And it's not to say like I feel like some people just don't understand that we can have different emotions. Like, we could be looking at the sunrise and one could be crying and one can be like smiling and dancing, and there's enough beach for both of us, and we don't have to like crash each other out. We can like honor, and like the cry can turn into movement, and the dancer might shed a tear, and it might be a beautiful cry, it might be a deep sob, whatever needs to happen, and the waves come and wash it away, and then there's like a new scene to play. And so I would suppress my truth because I didn't know how to communicate. Like, these are the things I've learned as of recent. I don't have to communicate everything. I just have to remain true to the energy. I don't need to talk. I don't need to tell people things they don't want to hear. Didn't ask me. It's not my responsibility. And there's also ways, like this is like a beautiful art form. Anything we do is art. Just like this video, the way it's made, it can be made in countless different ways. Or how I talk, and our energy, our voices generally are coded with the energy. It's almost like our smell, our imprint. So if I'm sad and I'm telling you I'm happy, you're gonna feel the energy. And there are ways to say things like, yes, my pleasure, or no, F you. There's different ways to say things, and I'm learning these different ways to express myself in ways that, because I kind of was seeing things black and white and thinking, okay, if I communicate things, then I can see where I'm hard-headed and just go around hitting my head on shit, and that's how if I stop then to realize, hey, if I just turn on the light or put up my arms in front of me, I don't have to hit my head. And realizing, okay, I don't need, just because communicating in the past happened X does not mean it's going to happen now. I've changed. So then the result can change, and I can apply change. And in the present moment, as woo-woo cliche, and I don't care because this is like facts. And Don put it in his song. He says, "Viví la vida segundo a segundo. Y en cada uno de ellos, cada segundo, encontrarás la forma en cómo conducirte. Te lo aseguro." All right, so what did Don say? He said, and you just go live moment to moment. Like, you can have goals and stuff, but you kind of have to be present in the moment and receive the information that is happening. So, sometimes it might be time to express oneself through dance or through cooking. If your family's hungry and it's your turn to cook dinner, going around and spending time with them and saying, I love you, or writing them a letter is not the action that's going to express to meet their need, because everyone wants to eat. You could cook and join everyone around and put the love into the food and the table. And yes, some people might not receive and some people might be upset. Either way, we already account for that. But do we want to be accurate and recognize, if our friend's tired, can we not massage their feet and show them some love? Does it matter what sex we are? If we already know as humans that touch is the most powerful and healing thing. So giving each other a massage and breaking away whatever thing that is not true, are we free enough to act on it? So a time I remembered where I did not communicate my truth. What happened? How did it feel? What would what would you wanted to say? What would have I wanted to say? Okay, so just not communicating feels like being constipated. And having a clear system and you have abs showing feels like when you receive information efficiently and digest it and then produce something. All right, part 3. I feel I answered this, like most of this, in what I've been saying. Why did I not communicate my truth? Conditioning, fear. What do I believe would be the effects of communicating truth? More efficient energy ways, a better quality of life, better relationships, like just a better environment, like because communicating isn't just like speaking, it's the actions, how our actions aligned with our goal or our existence. Because our actions communicate also, and then our decisions. So it would overall be a freaking better life. How would I have wanted my truth to be received? Well, I would love if anytime I open my mouth, it's at least received and experienced. I totally understand not liking it, or like I would love to be in an environment where we can receive each other and we can respect each other. We don't have to agree with each other. And then, like, for some people, you just can't even, like, that clarity. It's almost like meeting energies and you have clear mirrors versus foggy or, like, no mirror. And then you don't really, like, see the energy reflected back. So that would be nice. But I also understand why, as a species, we don't sit to experience each other sometimes, because I have been guilty of that. I was not able to stomach some conversations when they felt like they were getting emotionally heavy because of fear, because, past conditioning. I was afraid this was going to lead down a road and I didn't know, and it was, and it did. How would you have wanted my truth to receive? So, in moving forward, I just aim to communicate the best that I can, and I know that we cannot control how others receive us. And just holding that compassion and that understanding, also the discerning that if it doesn't resonate with them, you can't force a message down someone's throat, or I don't want to. So, has there been a time I communicated my truth? Yes. What happened? What were the results? How did it feel? I feel like right now I'm communicating my truth. I feel there was one time when I was about to have like an intimate moment with someone, and this like line came into my head, and it was kind of cheesy, and if I kept thinking about it, I wouldn't have said it, but I just said it, I just trusted it, and then like it was kind of like the moment that sparked the intimacy of the evening, and it was a very positive experience. And I feel like it's not so much about, it's really like trusting the energy, because if you're aligned, the environment wants to take you where you want to go. And so just saying the thing, no matter what my judgment was on it, just, buff. Also, there's been a few times when participating in the ritual of making music, when I do let myself, like, it's the same thing, I just allow that environment inside to allow whatever words, sounds want to move through me, then it's like it's amazing, because it might not be a whole song, it might just be 2 lines or 2 words, whatever, it doesn't matter. The energy's there, and I feel like it's just like authentic and true, and it works out. So learning to be a clear channel and trusting. Yes, baby. Oh. Da? I hear it. Lo escucho. In what ways can I communicate my truth needs more often? Oy, in all the ways. Now realizing that it's in all the actions, in all the decisions we make is communication. It's not, so that's why I'm realizing that the throat chakra or the creation chakra is not just our throat. Our throat is very powerful if we harness that energy as such. If we're just giving it away and just talking to talk, then it kind of spreads out everywhere. And if we're true in our hearts with what we say, it's like an arrow to the target. So in how I sleep and how I make my bed if I don't, and how I dress myself and how I address others and how I show up for the moment, in all the ways that in all the decisions one can make, we communicate. I just have 2 left. What ways can people receive what you say in a better way? I feel like myself just being more understanding and compassionate that the other is going to have their experience of me. And like one time I had an argument, a situation with a friend. They are heavily raw and they really want their child to be raw vegan. And we were living somewhere where no one else was vegan, and actually they mostly, like, everyone enjoyed meat and dairy. And it was like a homestead, so the meat was at least from, like, it was all high quality, mostly high quality ingredients and stuff like made out of love. So then when we were vibing, doing karaoke, and then they came and they had these like cute little macaroni, mac and cheese little sliders. And I shared it with the kids, and I asked, is it cool? But then they got really upset that they just had like a whole breakdown because they wanted, and I understand as a mom, like you think in your mind, like if the environment is like this, then the specimen of my baby will grow up, because we're wired for like what's best for them. And if we have this knowledge, and it's like it gets very overwhelming, and how do you control all those factors? But probably living with people who are not vegan is obviously gonna present a challenge. And I took it personal, and I felt attacked, and I was extra mad because I was having a good time. Because if I get pissed off when I'm having a good time, it's kind of like, oh no you didn't, because I'm having a good time right now and you're getting in the way of that. So I was like, yo, I don't know, I like tried to talk to them, and they were like, because they were making it personal to me, and I just wish in that moment, and then they like, I feel like we both just reacted with sloppy past energy instead of sitting down at the table in presence and saying, all right, like what is my issue and what do I need to communicate? And because I have no issue in, I understand where she's coming from, but emotionally having a whole scene and then sending that energy my way. And then they also wanted me to validate them when I experienced a situation with them and someone else. And then I was like, no, because I don't agree with you. And I don't think that loyalty or agreeing with someone 100%, I think if you agree with someone 100%, you're not being honest, because we all are so different. And we are all so unique in our perspective and our experiences. And you have to, and it's not about agreeing with someone 100%. It's about letting each other be different and loving each other regardless. Because maybe a solution would be like for her to go live, I don't know, we set up a separate kitchen, or her and the child just learn what it's like to live in a community with people who want to eat different. And she explained, I don't know, like, or they move but we could always stay friends, or we have vegan days. Because I wouldn't mind eating raw vegan for like 2-3 days and then whatnot. I'm down to work it out. But that act of, hey, instead of like getting mad and going nowhere, we like sit down, and but then after the fact that I wouldn't validate what their experience was, because, so like I said, I experienced them having an argument with someone else, and then they wanted me to like say, yeah, you're right, and I was like, I can't do that, because I did see it, and I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just saying this doesn't feel like it's about the argument. It's one of those like, you're upset about something else, and why don't we unpack that and talk about what's really happening, and then we can address it. So in those experiences, I feel like I communicated, like it was hard. I kind of lost a friend, or I guess it was like the illusion of a friend, by being honest. See, okay. Yeah, it looks good. Love you. What ways can we help people receive what you say in a better way? I don't. I think that it's more like saying this and having these realizations. It's more about being authentic, and then being the example of what you want to go to Dada? Yes. Yes. Dada. I don't know if we can help people receive. Say bye, Miss V. Bye.
All right. Where do you want to go? That way? That way?
What ways can we help people receive what you say in a better way? I mean, in a perfect world, if people wouldn't react, myself included, from past traumas and were present, things would be a lot different. And just the act of us experiencing each other to the fullest, because if you think about it, that's how we get ourselves in a lot of situations. If we're not present and we're worried about the future, when we meet people, we're like, how do you fit into my future? Oh, you do, you don't, or I'm going to force you to. And then it doesn't work out. But if we're present and we just allow the experiences to be what they are, and we are alive. We are alive. We are subject to change. We are subject to a lot of, change is the constant. So and you never step in the same river twice. With this, when we meet, to allow those experiences to be unique and special, and I also hold the awareness that we cannot control others. So I feel that my responsibility is to embody all these things that I have learned and execute them in my energy, in my expression moving forward. And that is my art. So sitting calm in the awareness that I can communicate, I know how, I have the tools. Taking a deep breath helps facilitate a lot of things, and how others react is their freedom to choice, their freedom to choose. Ultimately, being true and authentic with integrity is my motivation and my experience. I give Quartz a shout out because these questions really got me. It was like a self-therapy session, and they got me understanding myself. I felt like looking in the mirror and understanding myself. But when you need to see the back of your head to see how good your haircut looks, I could see all angles. So thank you. Onwards and upwards.